Okay, so Gimel Amud Aleph, we have the Mishna, second Mishnah on the page. Medinanu be'ish ploni shehu chayiv lechaveru elav zuz. So you say that A is chayiv to be 1,000 zuz, all good. Al menas litet lo mikan ve'ed shloshim yom. So he has to pay him like now. There's a deal in the Mefarshim here is why Davka doesn't say shloshim yom and not now. And basically, there's all stuff to do with loans and stuff. It's not really our thing right now. So, really, from this, so we have to pay him now. And he says, "Mi kan ve'ed eser shanim." I have 10 years to pay. So he does owe him the money, but he just owes him in 10 years and not now. So, really, you know, the classic way I would understand this is that, that's ribbis, and there's no ribbis, and therefore they didn't do anything. This comes the Mishnah says, kama adam roitzali ten ve'yebi ado elef zuz bein noisin mikan ve'ed shloshim bein noisin mikan ve'ed eser shanim. So the Mishnah here is saying that there's a value to the difference in this 10 years. This money for 10 years has a value. Since this money has a value, you got to pay the difference in between. But again, we're kind of stuck here that it should be ribbis, and there's no ribbis. So therefore, why are they paying? Now, here, I mean, Rashi and Tosfos don't say anything. They were stuck like in the last Mishnah going on about it, so they don't say anything here. So there's no real pshat here from the Rashi Tosfos. So we have to go elsewhere. So one answer I heard, and I really don't like this. I don't think maybe I misunderstood it, but I don't hold this answer till that. Ribbis is also. However, the Adim tried to make him lose that, and therefore he has to pay the interest difference. They attack it to pay. Now, the Torah holds there's such a thing as ribbis, right? Ribbis exists, yeah, and you can loan it to a goy. You can loan to a goy with ribbis, so ribbis exists, but you can't collect it. There's an issue to collect it. If I say to you, is 100, I'll give you 100. Now, ribbis deraisa has to be katsutz. It has to be fixed. So I say to you, I'll give you $100 now, and you give me back $120 in a year's time. So that $20 is ribbis deraisa because it's katsutz, it's fixed, and it's agar netter. It's the monetary value of the money. Now, where ribbis is mutter, Gemara says anywhere that you return the item. So if you borrow a car, you can pay, interest or ribbis on the car. That's basically, you say you borrow a car that's worth $100,000, and then you give the guy back $100,000 and $50 on top. Is that like it's ribbis there? But that's mutter. That's agar neta that you're using the time value you're paying for, because there you return the actual item. You take car A and you return car A. But when it comes to money, you take money A and return money B. So you have the same problem with eggs. If someone comes and asks you for an egg, and then they're not going to return that egg, they're going to return a different egg. So then, therefore, it's shaykh for ribbis. And then if they give you a bigger egg than you gave them, so then you have a shaila of ribbis. Now it's not deraisa because it's not a fixed amount where you have to say, I'm giving you an egg this size and you're going to have to give me a bigger egg that size. That would be ribbis deraisa. But here they're returning it. But if the egg's bigger, so therefore you have a chashash of it's ribbis rabbanan anyway there. But the so anyway, if someone asks you for an egg, just give him the egg. And if he wants to give you an egg back, then whatever. But don't be loaning eggs out. You get into issues of ribbis to rabbanan. And so again, anything in which what is given back is completely different to the one in which you gave. So now it's shaykh ribbis. Anything that stays the same is mutter. So again, a car, a rake. If you just want to rent out your stuff, that's fine. Now, so the Torah says that the ribbis. If I lend you $100 and I say give me back $120, so that's ribbis deraisa, and again I can claim the keren. I can get my $100 back with that $20. It's just also for me to get from you. So does it exist or not? Is it really a thing? And therefore there are some that say that then you have to pay the difference. That the Adam Zomimim, there is no they're giving false testimony. So therefore what they're saying isn't true. So therefore there isn't any ribbis, and therefore That's what they try to make the guy lose, and therefore that's what he has to pay, even though ribbis is also. I don't really get that because the Adam didn't try to make him lose that, and also we have the whole issue of Zaman. What did they zoimem to do? What's their plan? And we're going to mechayiv them what their plan is. So I've seen that out there, but I just don't. That really has to pay ribbis, but it's the value, the money value, and again here it's not ribbis on the loan that they're paying, but the loan taka. If there was ribbis on it, it'd be also to collect, so they're not making him lose that anyway. And if there wasn't any ribbis on the loan, then why are they paying ribbis on the loan? So I don't like that answer. So the Ritva made it on a blishmon chayiv lehor elazuz, and that in order for him to give it for 10 years, and he has zuz mikam de ezer shanim. Don't explain it that they pay mach oimich hayochu leharviach be'elav zuz ad eser. Now, what is this leharviach? There's two ways to understand leharviach. Leharviach is that we're going to do masa matan in the money. It's like, if I give you seed capital, if you have, if I give you $10, you're not going to start much of a business. If I give you, $1 million, maybe you'll come up with some money making, way. You've had to turn $1 million into $2 million, but turning $10 into $20, it's a bit more difficult unless you, go gambling or something. But again, if I give you $10 million, if the more money I give you, the big chunk of money, so therefore you're able to do some, some business with that money, and then make it. So if we have a look at the Shalas Shuvas of the Maharami Mrotenberg. So just at the end here, he has a case, and he says V'lo dami lahu demakos. It's not similar to that in Makos. Here he's dealing with the case of the case he's trying to say about groma, that it's that you have the case of groma. So here bechlal, why they chayiv to do anything, because it's just they're not causing any damage to the guy. They're stopping him collecting his money or paying his money, so therefore it's only a groma. So it's v'lo dami to makos. Me'edon b'ish ploni. The husband odim kama adam roitz litem biado v'lo dami lemevatel kiso. So lemevatel kiso is like you have your money inside a room, and I put a padlock on that room. So I stop you having access to that room. That's mevatel kiso, and I'm potter. Well, my potter because it's a groma. Groma ben ezikin is potter. So why is it not there? Dahatam havi maos tachas yadov laharviach, because over there in the case of Makos, you actually have the money that you can be marviach. So here he's saying, this is what the Ritva is saying. It isn't. That there you have the money and you can make money with that, and you're being forced to pay that back early. So you say, I'm chayv this money, I have to pay back for 10 years, so I can make money this 10 years, and you're forcing me to pay it back now. So if I have that money in my hand, then I can make money with it. I can be marviach with the money and trade with the money and make a business with the money. Look, that's what he's saying here. So therefore here, I have the money in my hand and I can make money with this, and therefore, I can buy Bitcoin or whatever the kids are doing these days to make money. And they're trying to take it out of his hand. But mevatel kis, it was not in his hand of the malva. So that's how they say that it's not a groma. It's basically it's garmi. Again, groma and garmi, they're really the same word except in Hebrew and in Aramaic. And the garmi is where Rabbeinu Tam explains it, that it's a miyad, and it's so that the hezek happens immediately, and it's bari chezek, that for sure the chezek is going to happen, and that it's you did it. It was by your hand. So if I open your front door, then it's not clear that someone's actually going to go in and steal from your house. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. And if I open the horse is bolted. If I open the door to where your horses are, the horses they're not lining up to just run away. I open up the door, and then later they run out. So I haven't done it immediately to your horses. So here we're saying it's garmi, because for sure when I force you to pay back the money, you can't be marviach. So this is how the Maharam in Morotenberg is explaining that it's not a groma because you actually have the money. But again, he's saying here that you're going to be the harviach, you're going to be making money on the back of this of the back by having 10,000 having 10,000 zuz for 1,000 zuz for 10 years. You're able to do business with it, which you can't. It's like an interest-free loan that you have for 10 years. You can make money with it. So Ritva says, don't say that it's going to be laharviach. Why not? This isn't what the lashon of the Mishnah is. It's not a fixed amount of money. Now we had before. This is really all on the first Mishnah, and we didn't get into it. Why, if you say that someone's a ben gerusha, ben chalutza, you're stopping them getting truma. So why don't we say it's to pay for the truma? So there he says that it's something that's not fixed. You can't force the Adam Zonimim to pay something that doesn't have an amount. So if you say, okay, pay this guy for the truma he's going to get in the next 10 years, no one has any idea how much truma he's going to get for the next 10 years. So since it doesn't have a fixed amount, it doesn't really have a market value for each individual Kohen. How much truma is he going to get? I don't know. Maybe you could sell it. It's like the old rockers selling their music, the future rights to their music as a bond or whatever. You don't really know how much that's going to be worth, but you do some actuary science and whatever. Based on past performance of receiving truma is no proof of future getting truma. But it doesn't have a fixed amount. So you can't mechayev the Adam Zomim because even if they made him lose truma, but you don't know how much. So here, how much money can you make in 10 years on 1,000 zuz? So, maybe you can make something, maybe you could lose something. Again, maybe he's going to stick it all into Bitcoin and you're going to save him the whole 1,000 zuz. So there's no fixed amount here. So therefore, how can you mechayev the Adam Zomim that amount? So he spoke about this a la'il, Ayin Sham and the Ritva for more. But groma ben azikin. Again, here is a groma ben azikin. So again, the Maharam would say that it's more for Gormi. It's grama b'nezikin ba'almahu. So I stopped you making money. That's a grama. You don't pay for it. Shepoter b'mili d'nezikin ba'alma. As it says in the Yerushalmi, this is the big case in Yerushalmi, and all the Rishonim bring it here. Mevatel kiso shel chavero shehu poter. So again, mevatel kiso shel chavero. The idea you have your money somewhere, and I stop you getting access to that money, so you're poter. So this is the same thing, says the Ritva. Other Rishonim give it teretz. But hazama k'destivin la'ayil. Vefilu gazlin gomor eina mishalam ela kashasa gazela. So he makes a good point here. What's going on with the Mishnah that I stop you? I didn't take your money from you. I didn't take $1,000 from you. I said that you have to pay $1,000 now instead of paying it in 10 years' time. Now, what would be the case if I steal $1,000 from you? I just steal $1,000 from you now. Now, in 10 years, I do teshuvah and I say, right, I'm doing chazaras kesef or whatever. I'm giving back the money. So there, how much do I pay? I took your money and I took it for 10 years. I was a gazlan gomer on your money for 10 years. How much do I pay? So you pay $1,000 because that's what you stole. So here you pay kashas gazela. The gazlan pays kashas gazela. And how much was the value of the theft when I stole it? It was 1,000 zuz. So therefore, after 10 years, I pay. Not the difference between then and now. I pay the value of what I stole. At the time that I stole it, that's 1,000 zuz. So here to say that the Edom are going to be paying when even if they stole it, which because seemingly stealing it's much worse than this, and now all of a sudden they have to pay all these fees of the amount 10 years. If you stick the S&P is making 10% a year, so you're expecting over 10 years to get at least 1,000 zuz. So how much are they going to pay there? Because you're paying everything back at the time that you had it. So if the Edom stole the actual money itself, they wouldn't pay anything above what they stole. They're now if they stole, they're now 1,000 up. 10 years later, they give back exactly what they stole. So now they're at zero. And here all of a sudden, the Edom Zomim have to pay revach. It's lo mistaver. Elapirshu sheshimshu mashinotin aval lamalva ata michovze im yifrenu ata. So when it comes to ribbis, if I say to you, okay, here's a washing machine, and it's $100 now, but if you pay me in a year's time, pay me $120, and rather than paying me $100 now. So that's ribis kutsutsa. However, if I say this washing machine is $120 if you pay in January, if you pay in the end of the year, if you pay in December. However, if you pay now, you get a discount. I'll discount you $20. You don't have to pay $100 if you pay now. So any discount you get on a future payment, that's not ribis. Now it has to be a future payment, right? So I don't know if it works if you say, well, you take the washing machine now and then you pay $120 in a year's time. Oh, but you can just pay $100 now if you want. Why are you paying in a year's time? It seems to be a bit of financial engineering there. But things that are paid at the end, let's say you're renting a car for a month. You pay at the end. So there you have, you can get a discount at the beginning, so that's not ribis, even though you owe $120 at the end of your rental. If you pay $100 now, so then that's not ribis because you're taking that money off. So and there's other things like rent would be paid at the end. Like, see, they would say, because like when you're working, you get paid at the end. So rental of an apartment is like, they saw it the same as working, so therefore you pay at the end. So today we pay up front. It could be more we don't trust anybody or whatever, stop you running away. But so there, then you can get a discount on your rent by paying now. So what would the loiva give to the malva now to be potter from the chov if he pays it now? So if you have a loan, if you have 1,000 zuz due in 10 years, how much would you pay now to not be chayiv then? So you can get out of your 1,000. What if you pay 900 now? You don't have to pay the 1,000 zuz in 10 years, or you pay 500 now. Whatever you're going to pay now, in order that you don't pay, so you're happy to pay a discount now to not have the chov later. What's that value? So Ritva is saying that's what you're paying. So it's nothing to do with ribis. It's nothing to do with making money. It's nothing to do, and again, this will have a fixed payment. We'll have to have a fixed amount, although because we go back to the ketzitza problem. Umanak and shumazu, when we remove whatever the shum, we take that out of it, and then the zomim have to pay their v'zeh borer. So because if he pays today, so that sure is not making v'zeh borer. So that's clear. So you take out so whatever that price on early payment is, that's what the Eden Zomim are paying. So that's the sheets of the Ritva, and you get out of a lot of issues going with that shita. In the Shalos Shuvas of the Radbaz, so he brings down the Hagos Mamonos. So Nimsa Kotov Hagos Mamonos. So we have a Maisa Beruven. Shachar Melamed Lebeno. So he gets someone to teach his son Torah, presumably. So he makes a kinyan and he has to pay. So he says to the guy, "You teach my kid for the month, and I'll give you 100 zuz." V'lo natan lo, and then he never gave them. So in January, he's making his claim. January he had to pay him. He says, teach my son, and I'll pay you in January. And he never paid him in January. So he's chayiv to pay him because he made kinyan on it. So now in December, he's been chasing him through the courts, and he says to he says to the father of the son, "Okay, pay me the 100 for the wages you owe me, and on top of that, give me the money I could have made through. If you gave me the 100, then I could have made money with that 100." V'dan Rav Eliezer Matuch. So the Hagos Mamos brings the story that Rav Eliezer Matuch says that you're chayiv liten lo haraviach. Again, what exactly is this haraviach? Is that the money you're making? Is that ribis? Is that whatever, but you have the money that you could have made. So again, he's owed $100, and now he says, give me $120, and he gets it. The ain't bo mishun ribis adkan. That's not because of ribis. That's adkan the hagos mamonos. Kavar katatmi kamapamim. So the Radbaz is saying here, we don't hold. I'm not sure exactly what the story is here, but the Radbaz is saying, I've told you many times, ain't darke lives in this much. My way, darki, is to be soymech on the hagos. But when he's makel, I'm not soymech on him. The dilma cholikim alav b'nei doira. Maybe everybody on his door in his generation was arguing on him. The aim nismoch, the eich. How can we be nismoch al zed ikatarti? So how can we be relying on him? So he's been makel here because there's two things that he's been makel. Afukim memuna. That he's been. So usually again we have the mukzak, and we have the moitzi. So and the mukzak is a moitzi alav raya. So he has a raya for the 100, but the extra 20 he's getting for ribbis. Again, I'm calling it ribbis, but again, ribbis is what is interest that is aser deraisa is ribbis. Interest that is not aser deraisa is not ribbis. So, I mean, it can be the same thing. So the payment, but ribbis is just the label you give to interest that's aser. So the interest on the mutter interest on the money he gets, but that's moitzi. He's moitzi from the mukzak. Because the father is holding the extra $20. Now he has to pay him the $20. He's been moitzi the moment from him. And secondly, this ribbis is deraisa. So how can we make all here? And you're saying it's not ribbis, but ribbis is deraisa. And if you see at the end, you'll see that his brother is arguing on him. And also with sechirus there is ribbis. So again, with sechirus there is ribbis means that it is also there's ribbis on sechirus. So again, if we have two things, we have a halva. I give you a loan of 100, so therefore at the end you owe me $100, and anything above 100 is ribbis. However, if I work for you, then at the end of the work you owe me $100. Is the money on top of that called ribbis or not? So he's saying there is ribbis. So we're just saying they're only arguing on schirus. So his brother at the end says that schirus has ribbis. But the hagos mamos is they're just having the argument about malva kula alma modi to have a ribbis kutsutza. So everyone's agreeing that on the malva, that's ribbis kutsutza. Everyone agrees. If you owe you 100 and then you claim give me the extra money, and then so you owe me the malva, you owe me the loan in January, and I don't pay you till December, then any extra payment will be ribbis deraisa posh you don't have to pay. V'raya shekatav bal hagos. So how does the bal hagos prove that there's mutter to collect extra money, to collect interest on a payment for wages? What's his proof? Mahahi the ber coming to Makos, because we see in the Mishna in Makos, me I didn't be explaining to Chayv Lecher Lev Zos the Metal 10 law we can be 30 yom v'hom we can add Gimel Sham Ninsa Zomim Oimdim. So now Oimdim Kama, how does Rotzelitem you have Biado Elev Zos can be Gimel Shana? So that's our Mishnah. Vakam im shaykh b'sechirus ribbis. If sechirus had an iser deraisa of ribbis, a my mishalme lay edim. So he's saying that the Mishnah is not talking about a loan at all. It's talking about that he owes him money for his work. And he says, yeah, you owe me money for the work after 10 years. And the Adams come and say, you owe him after 30 days. So it's like I have a contract to work with you for 10 years. I don't know, I'm building your house or something. And they say, yeah, he owes him the money, but he owes him in 30 days. So there, he's saying, Taka, yeah, he pays ribbis on that. He pays interest on that. Why? What about the Isser ribbis? Yeah, there's no ribbis because it's on schirus, it's on wages, and on wages there's no Isser of ribbis. There's no ribbis on them, so therefore you can pay. So therefore that's the whole Mishnah. Kamosha Adam Roitza, v'haraya el korcha b'schirus ayri. For sure, they're referring to wages. Te'iba halva as lo hayanotin lo klum, because if it was a loan, he wouldn't pay him anything. Again, the Ritva is learning it's a loan. Everyone's learning it's a loan. You were saying, no, it's not a loan. It can't be a loan. Because if it's a loan, he doesn't pay him anything. Mishum ribis. That's all in the Hagos Mama. So therefore it can't be that the Mishnah is talking about a loan because that's taka ribis and you don't pay anything. So that is that pshat find in the Hagos. Now, the Radbaz disagrees with that and he says his own brother disagrees with him. And he's been Makot in this, but the Hagos Mamas himself holds that this Mishnah is a raya, and this Mishnah is talking about schirus, that is owed wages, and you can pay ribis on owed wages, not called ribis. It's so interest. So if I owe you money for work that you did, then there's an interest payment on that, and that's what the Mishnah is referring to according to the Hagos Mamonos, and then everyone's arguing on it. So it's a problem then later on. How do you understand this? Because the Gemara is going to say that that it's a loan for 10 years and Shemitah is Mishamet. Mm-hmm. So and Shemitah is not Mishamet wages that are owed. But you'd have to be that within the 10 years. I mean, having 10 years to owe the wages is a bit stark or whatever. But you would have to at some point haka for lava malva, meaning that you owe the money and then as wages. Then at some point, I go to you and I say, pay me my wages, and then you say to me, oh, can you loan it to me for this time? So then you turn it into a loan at some point later, and then
you have an issue.
And then Shemitah will get rid of the loan. Oh, yeah. So you have to play around with it like that in order to make it fit the Gemara. There's definitely a bit of a doichek to put in that we're talking about owed wages, but again, there's a lot to be more viach. If it is owed wages, and you get out of the whole issue of ribis. Even again, but this maklokas itself is whether is there ribis on wages that are owed. So there's a maklokas between. I mean, the Rabbah holds there is, and the Gosmanos is arguing with his own brother. But again, it solves a lot of problems if you learn it that way.